Alright guys, tonight I am just trying out my Insta360 X4 in a low light situation. By the way, it is December 2nd, 2024. It's 47 degrees out here. Feels great. We don't get very many cold days in Florida, so we take them when we can get them. But anyway, I'm just playing around with my camera, finding out if it's ever worth using it in low light conditions. And there's a spectrum for low light. I mean, there's very dark, there's somewhat dark, and there is what appears to be well lit environments that are actually considered low light. And a 360 camera can be very funny about that, but I've seen some people actually pull it off quite well. I want to find out what the parameters are so I can know whether it's ever worth it or not to use it in a low light situation. Let's say, for instance, I'm out with my camera, it gets dark early, and it's the only camera, this camera is the only camera I might have on me, and I think, wow, I think I might want to capture this. But is it worth it at all or not? And what kind of settings do I need to have it on? So I do have a cheat sheet that I'm using from a guy who has a YouTube channel that I think all he does is 360 stuff. So I'm using his cheat sheet to know what settings to put this camera on, and I just hope that this works out well, because I don't expect this to be, what in the world is that? I know it's a bird over here, but looks like he had been eaten out of a shell. I don't expect Osmo Pocket 3 quality. I mean, those are tremendously good in low light situations because of the 1-inch sensor. I don't expect that from this, but you know, what can this do? That's what I want to know. So I thought I'd come downtown tonight to Lake Mirror, play around with this a little bit, and see what kind of results I could get. Some parts of Lake Mirror are a little dark, just a little dark. I mean, where I feel pretty confident that I wouldn't get much quality at all, but we'll find out. But this is one of my favorite times of the year to walk around Lake Mirror, because of all the Christmas decorations. I love these red hoods they put on the street lights or the lamps, because makes or the shades. I should say the red shades they put on the lamps, whatever you want to call it. So over here on my left we have the Amtrak station. I love the big green wreath. It's very, very pretty. I don't know how well anybody can see out in the distance, but there's a Christmas tree, not quite across the lake because we're getting closer and closer to it all the time, but let me just stop here for a second and take a look around. I doubt this turns out very well, but I would be abundantly pleased if it did. Is it worth even uploading? Maybe you would want to know. Maybe you purchased a 360 camera and you're curious. But there is a big difference between the X4 and the X3. I have the X3. I've never used it in low light, never had any desire to. I never saw anybody have any good results from it. But it seems like some people have pulled it off with the X4 rather well. Here we have this beautiful Christmas tree. Usually there's very loud music playing from it, and I can't get anywhere close to it without having to mute the music because it gets a copyright strike. But anyway, this is a beautiful tree. This might be a good test right here. Let's see how this looks. That is pretty. Very satisfying. All right. I wonder if you can see the ducks, the white ducks that are out here. You can probably hear them. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I can see you. I can see you. This really is one of my favorite places to walk. I think it's 0.7 miles around, just 0.7, you know, under a mile. So, you know, you can do your own math to figure out how far you want to walk, but any time of the year is really nice. But when it's all lit up like this, it's just so pretty. It kind of puts me in my happy place. Oh, that music back there started up. Yeah, it started up back there at that tree. Just gonna stop right here for a second and take a look around and see how it looks in a full 360. And while you can't see it probably on this video, I'm looking across the lake and I'm seeing 2 Christmas trees and the windows of the top floor of a church. It's really pretty. Never noticed that before. And then there's the big decorations at the top of the Lakeland Electric building. I've always liked those. So the first Thursday of every December is when Lakeland has their Christmas parade, and I've always enjoyed that, with the exception of a few years. Sometimes the crowds can be a little bit challenging, not just in terms of where to sit and where to park and how far you got to walk. That's not the worst part. Sometimes they're just some people can be a little bit bristly, but you know, I guess that's what happens when more and more people keep moving into Lakeland. But I love their parade here. The other night I went to, it was last Sunday night, I believe, I went to the Asian Lantern Festival over in Sanford, Florida, which is a couple of hours away from me. I went there and made a video, but not with this camera. And that was just a stunning event. I've never been to anything like that, and I'm hoping to have that video uploaded very soon. And then Thursday night, instead of going to the parade here in Lakeland, my wife and I are going to be going back to Sanford because they have a Krampus festival there. There's this bird eating another one of these shells here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, no, he's not eating the shell, he's eating what's in the shell. But anyway, they have a Krampus festival in Sanford, and it's kind of a big deal. It's very, very Krampus oriented. I mean, extreme. From what I read, from what we read, and some of the people I talked to, but also in addition to that, they're having a professional wrestling match between Krampus and Santa Claus. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to that. And I'm going to be making a video of that. Probably not with this camera, but that is what I'm doing this Thursday night, God willing. I say God willing, I'm talking about Krampus in the same tone, same breath, but yeah. So, well, maybe you can see it now. I was talking about those 2 Christmas trees on the 4th floor of that church over there. I've just never seen that before. Hi, I hope you guys can eyeball that. Anyway, so, you know, there's a lot of people out there that I have heard say, never use this camera in low light situations. But you know, there are other people out there that if you tell them something can't be done, they've got to find out for themselves whether that's true or not. And while I'm not the one who has spearheaded that campaign, I am going to follow in the footsteps of others, or at least follow their advice, to see if it would work for me or not. So that's what this video is really all about, as I've already stated. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope if you have a 360 camera, I hope it's kind of giving you a little bit of insight. What I did was on the cheat sheet, what it said was to put this originally at 8K. I haven't filmed anything in 8K on this yet, because the 5.7K plus, I can't tell the difference between that and the 8K. Well, anyway, that was a shell. That was a shell, by the way. So I have it 5.7K. ISO is set at 400, which I still feel might be a little low, but they recommended between 2 and 400. So I put it on 400, and the shutter speed 1/120, and the what do they put that? The Kelvin, the temperature at 5,000. And during the day, I typically have it at 5,500, but I put it on 5,000 for this one. So that's what I have it on for this. And 30 frames per second, because in 5.7K you can't get, even in 8K you can't get past 30 frames per second. But you can in just regular 5.7, you can go to 60 frames per second. But that's what we're doing here. It's 30 frames per second, and all the other settings I just mentioned. And yeah, so that's what I've done. I thought about just using the 8K all the way around, but the file size is what dissuades me from trying that. Yeah, so I just would spare myself the trouble, because even the 5.7K plus, even that file size is rather large. I mean, to me, it's almost as large as the 8K. Not much lower, to me, as far as I've seen, not much lower than the 8K, but it is a little bit. It makes a difference. That's why I decided to go with that. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. There's my night walk video and my experiment with a 360 X4 in low light, in some cases tonight, very low light conditions. If you have any questions, let me know. I will try to answer them. Tell me if you have a camera like this. Tell me if you have used different settings with this camera and have been more successful than I have, because I would want to know. Like the video, and listen, if there's anything you want me to talk about, anything that you would love me to go out and record, let me know. Maybe I can pull it off. I can certainly talk about a lot of things, even if I can't go some places. But just throw anything against the wall and let's see what sticks. Okay. All right. That's all for tonight. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good night.